Howdy folks, another month, another update. Pretty miserable day here in Auckland, but there's been a few events in the news to have a chat about. What's not miserable is a couple of packages have arrived, so I'll crack those open in just a second. Rugby jerseys, kind of no surprises there. Some stats, some thanks, a bit about Joe Schmidt, Carl Hayman, and some rugby eligibility stuff which has been in the news. But yeah, we'll start with the jerseys. I've had a couple of jerseys sent to me. This first one was sent by Iain, and it has been sitting here because I try to leave the jersey openings for the monthly update, and it's been sitting there. It arrived very early last month, so it's been sitting here for ages, but I'm finally cracking it open, and it is in a nice bag. It's even got a card with it. I'll open that first. I may not be able to read this on camera because it's handwritten. Goodness me. Hope your family well and safe. Thank you for coping with the kids at home. Yes, indeed. We are still in lockdown. Keeping you sane. Supporting Edinburgh and Scotland. Man. Wow. Thank you so much, Iain, for the note. I'll read that carefully in just a moment. But yeah, essentially what Iain has sent through is the current Edinburgh jersey. Nice stuff, man. I do have the away Edinburgh kit, but this is the home jobby. So I've got one of each, and that's phenomenal. Edinburgh do make nice kits, don't they? Thank you very much, Iain. Sorry, I've kind of skimmed over your note here, but I will have a proper read of that in just a tick. Man, it was written in September. That's how long shipping plus it's sitting on my shelf there has taken to get to. But yeah, cheers for that, Iain. Edinburgh have been going all right in the old URC. And the other one is from Trevor, also a URC jersey. This one is Benetton. Now these things are like bloody unicorns. You can't get Benetton jerseys here in NZ. There's only one store that I've found that sells them, and I think it's the official Benetton store. And the cost of the jersey, because I've looked, plus shipping to New Zealand, was horrendous. So yeah, man, Trevor, you're an absolute lifesaver for sending this Benetton jersey through. He was in Treviso, so able to kind of pick it up at the actual store. So, man, that's phenomenal as well. Man, Benetton jersey. It's got some kind of textured thing on the front here, which I'll have to kind of have a look at. But, yeah, man, thank you very much for that. I will try both of those jerseys on very shortly. But thank you, chaps. Very much appreciated. I'm loving the URC, to be honest. I know the South African teams joining that competition after Super Rugby kind of fell apart was a bit of a question mark as to how it was going to go, but I've been pretty pleasantly impressed with the way the competition has gone thus far. So yeah, thank you guys very much. Phenomenal contributions and very, very much appreciated. So that's the jerseys down. Some of the stats for the month and some of the thanks. Thank you guys for all being here. You always kind of come along month in, month out. For the views, for the comments, for the subscriptions, for the likes, all that kind of stuff that YouTube loves. It's good for you guys to be here. I love reading the comments. You guys know if I've got time, I tend to spend a bit of time replying to comments. So always feel free to leave comments. Jump on the Discord. I'm not on the Discord as much as I should be, to be fair. It's kind of dividing time between children, watching rugby, gathering stats, and making videos, and then replying to comments. Like, I like to try and be engaged with the community, but there is a nice little Discord community there as well. In terms of the way the stats have been going this month, geography, South Africa number 1, UK number 2, Australia 3, New Zealand 4, Ireland 5, and then the US and Canada bringing up 6 and 7. So yeah, I think there was even 100 odd views from South Korea. So happy days. Probably an expat, I would imagine, in South Korea. Mostly males, 93%, 25 to 34, the biggest age group, but still almost 8%, 65 and over. Maybe you're here looking for the Gaza chats, I don't know, but either way, good to have you all along, and yeah, along for another month, so thank you so much. Also, a quick thanks to the patrons who support the channel on Patreon. It kind of buys me a bit of time to pay the bills, and also, you know, sit there looking at its endless amount of stats, which I've kind of been collecting. I'm hoping by the end of the year to have some pretty cool kind of stats accumulated, which could be interesting for a few videos. But yeah, these people making a financial contribution to the channel, be it $1 or be it a bit more, you know, it all really helps. Like I said, just buy the time to allow me that time to focus on gathering some hopefully pretty cool information. So thank you guys, especially to Ian H, John K, Michael D, and Billy H, for your guys' support throughout October, and all these lovely people here. So if you guys want to jump on to Patreon, I would love it. If you can't, then just subscribe to the channel, like the videos. But yeah, it's all a rich tapestry and all very much appreciated. So I'm very, very thankful to have, you know, glorious supporters who comment and view and like and subscribe and Patreon and send jerseys, man. I'm pretty blessed. What else can I say? Yeah, pretty humbled to get all that support. It always means a lot. Thank you guys once again. News stuff. Joe Schmidt, since he's left Ireland, he's kind of been without a coaching gig. I know he's been doing some work with World Rugby as kind of a consultant with them for some of their laws stuff. But he's going to get back into a bit of coaching, and he's doing so with my Blues. I will tell you without a shadow of a doubt, Blues fans are rather pleased with this prospect. He's not going to be a head coach or anything. They've just said he's going to be a part-time assistant to Leon McDonald, who's been our head coach for a few seasons now. So yeah, definitely a welcome addition to have that wealth of knowledge that guy's got. Coming back to the Blues. Remember, he has been with the Blues as an assistant like in the mid-2000s. So yeah, it's been a long time. But yeah, great to have a man with that much knowledge, that much experience, coming back home, basically, to the Blues. I'm not sure if he thinks of the Blues as his home. Probably not, but I'm going to stay Blues legend back in with the Blues. So happy days, and good to see him back coaching. Yeah, I know he wanted to be kind of closer to his family. He wanted to get a bit of family time in, so I'm sure he's had a chance to do that, and maybe keeping it part-time allows him to get that happy work-life balance. So good news there. Not so good news is former All Black Carl Hayman apparently being diagnosed with early onset dementia, and he has joined in that lawsuit which is coming for World Rugby, basically for exposing these guys to these head injuries, which they say has caused you know, brain damage, basically. So yeah, it's pretty bad news for him. I think he's only like 41, which is only three years older than me. So that's a pretty scary thought. But yeah, the guy played a lot of rugby. He it's a weird one because people react quite differently to this one. Some people you know, kind of outpour emotion in terms of support and love and care, and other people say, man, you guys are just looking for the money. You guys knew what you were getting yourselves into. I guess there is a time, because he retired in I think 2015, it's a time that was maybe when they were starting to improve the kind of head injury stuff. And if you ever wonder why rugby goes so hard on no contact of the head is so strictly punished, it's because of this kind of thing. So yeah, we'll have to see what happens with the whole lawsuit thing. Obviously, I hope Carl Hayman can get whatever treatment is available. I don't know much about it. I know my mum's mate's got dementia and it's pretty horrible. But yeah, 41, it's pretty young to be having anything associated with dementia. So we'll see how he goes. And lastly, in terms of the news, there's apparently a vote coming up at the end of the month about rugby eligibility. It's one that I think's been voted on at least once, maybe twice before, about potentially having a stand-down period for players who represent a country to then be able to stand down for a certain length of time, as in not play for that country for whatever the set length of time is, and then be able to switch allegiance to another country they would be eligible for. The primary countries that kind of push this, I think, are the Pacific Islands, especially Tonga and Samoa, because they see guys get capped by countries like New Zealand, Australia. Maybe not just those countries, but those are the two countries that I would guess. You're looking at a lot of former All Blacks who would still be eligible for countries like Tonga and Samoa. So, I mean, the guys that are always given an example are often New Zealand-born guys, like Charles Piutau, like Stephen Luatua. New Zealand-born guys who've kind of gone through the New Zealand system, but they have parents or grandparents from either Tonga or Samoa. So those guys, and like Malakai Fekitoa was another one. He was a legit, born and raised in Tonga guy who had to go through the Olympic loophole, but the Olympic loophole doesn't really allow props to play sevens and change their allegiance. So that's going to be going to a vote as to whether they would allow like a 3-year stand down period for guys to be able to switch to another country they would be eligible for. I think in New Zealand, in this part of the world, there's generally pretty good support for it, and that they want to kind of see the best guys playing, and nobody wants to see guys get capped only a handful of times by a team like the All Blacks and then not have the rest of their international career available. Other countries, though, like they're totally against it. Countries like Uruguay, I think Spain, kind of emerging countries who are not loaded with cash. They have a kind of thriving homegrown scene where they, like Uruguay is the classic one who recently qualified for the World Cup with a team, I think 100% homegrown, that they've been doing the right things in their own union and growing the game to the point where they are competitive at this level. They beat the States, who've got a bunch of kind of imported guys with grandmothers connections or, residency connections and stuff. Uruguay and those kind of countries would argue against this kind of thing because they don't have that talent pool connected by grandparents or whatever to call back on. But it needs to get 75% of the votes to pass, I think. So it's a pretty hefty one to get over. And it won't take much to convince a few countries that it'll be not in their best interests to keep the rules the way they are. But anyway, we'll kind of wait and see what happens with that one. I generally just want to see the best players play in the game. But I know it's a kind of a complex issue. Like Nathan Hughes is another guy who's often cited. Fijian, born and raised as far as I'm aware. Played in England long enough to get there by residency and openly said, man, it's a big old paycheck to play for England, so I'll play for them. But he's kind of out of favour now, so I'm sure he'd like to go back and play for the country of his birth if he had a chance. But anyway, some people would argue he shouldn't have played for England in the first place. But again, people make decisions for all kinds of reasons. But anyway, I'm starting to ramble on. You guys let me know your thoughts on these issues. Thank you again for everything. Thanks to Trevor and Ian for the jerseys. Very much appreciated. To the patrons, to you subscribers. If you haven't subscribed, because apparently about 50% of people haven't, please do so. Welcome to the new 500 subscribers who subscribed in October. And as always, thanks for being here. And there's a ton of rugby on in November. I'm sure we will be seeing each other pretty soon. Take care of yourselves, guys, and I'll see you